The planet of Aradara was harsh, unforgiving, and relentless. Its red sands stretched for miles, shifting constantly under a wind that never seemed to rest. The human settlement of Novaris was a small cluster of domed habitats and metallic structures that had survived on ingenuity and stubborn determination. Every human who lived here knew the rules: survive, adapt, and never underestimate the planet. Life was a daily challenge, and yet they managed, scraping by with water reclamation systems, solar harvesters, and old ships patched together from scavenged parts. Captain Alex stood on the highest observation deck, his eyes scanning the horizon. He was tall, with sun-roughened skin and sharp green eyes that missed nothing. He had been born on Novaris, and in his 27 years he had seen sandstorms tear apart entire sectors and alien wildlife stalk his people from the edges of the dunes. Still, he loved the planet because it had made him human in every way that mattered: strong, clever, and unyielding. That morning had started like any other. Teams were out in the field checking the perimeter for signs of dust-shifted terrain or sand burrows that could trap equipment. The children were being educated in the learning domes, their laughter faintly carrying through the filtered air systems. Life was quiet, orderly, and predictable, but predictability was about to end. A shimmer appeared at the edge of the settlement, faint at first, like a heat haze in the distance. Alex squinted, adjusting his visor. The shimmer grew clearer, and then he saw her, a lone figure moving toward the settlement with an elegance that seemed impossible for this rough landscape. She wore a suit of unknown material that reflected light in soft colors, almost like liquid metal flowing over her form. It was unlike anything humans had seen. Her stride was calm, assured, and deliberate, as if she owned the planet itself. The other humans froze. The figure didn't slow as she approached the domes, and she didn't raise any kind of weapon. Yet something about her presence demanded attention. Whispers spread quickly among the workers outside. Who is she? Is she friend or foe? She shouldn't be here. Alex's instincts took over. He reached for his communicator, calling the security teams. Hold positions. Don't approach unless she shows hostility, he ordered. But even as he spoke, he felt a strange certainty, a pull in his chest that told him she wasn't here to harm them. The figure stopped just beyond the perimeter, raising her hand slightly. Alex noticed that she was scanning the settlement, eyes bright and sharp. Then she spoke, and her voice carried clearly, even through the filtered comms. I come with knowledge, she said. But I need your help. Alex blinked. Her voice was melodic, yet carried authority. Knowledge? About what? He asked, keeping his tone firm but cautious. The survival of this world. It is dying, and it will take both your ingenuity and my technology to save it, she replied. Time is limited, and I cannot do it alone. A few humans laughed nervously, thinking this might be a trick. We've survived fine without aliens showing up, thank you very much, muttered one worker. But Alex did not laugh. He studied her carefully. There was no deception in her stance, no hesitation in her eyes. She was telling the truth. Alex stepped forward, motioning for the others to hold. All right, he said. Let's hear what you have to offer. But first, we need identification. Who are you? My name is Lyra, she said simply. I come from a distant system, observing planets like yours for centuries. Your species has potential, but Aradara is unstable. Without intervention, your settlement and many others like it will perish. Her words were serious, and Alex felt a chill despite the heat. Aradara had always been challenging, but the idea of losing everything he and his people had built filled him with a sharp sense of urgency. He looked around at his team. We can't ignore this, he said. We need to hear her out. Lyra moved closer, her boots barely making a sound on the sand. She carried a small device that pulsed with soft light, strange symbols flickering across its surface. This is the key, she said, holding it out. It can stabilize the atmosphere temporarily, give you a chance to adapt permanently. But I cannot activate it without a human collaborator. Your kind brings creativity and unpredictability. That is required. Alex felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. If he refused, the settlement could be destroyed. If he agreed, he was stepping into unknown territory, working with an alien of immense intelligence and unclear intentions. Still, he sensed a rare opportunity here. He nodded. All right, I'll help, he said. But we do this cautiously. I don't want anyone taking unnecessary risks. Lyra smiled, a small confident gesture. Caution is wise. We will begin immediately. Over the next hours, Alex and Lyra worked together in the central lab dome. She explained the device in ways humans could understand, showing how it interfaced with the planet's natural systems. Alex realized quickly that her technology was far advanced, almost magical by human standards. Yet it required human input for certain adjustments. The combination of human intuition and alien precision could succeed. As they worked, Alex began to notice subtle things about her. Lyra had a way of observing humans, not just looking at their actions but understanding their thought process. She asked questions that made Alex think deeply about why he approached problems the way he did. Her presence challenged him, and yet he felt a strange comfort in her confidence. Suddenly, alarms went off. A sandstorm was moving faster than predicted, and its path would hit the settlement directly in less than 30 minutes. Alex cursed under his breath. "We need to finish now," he shouted, and the lab team sprang into action. Lyra adjusted the device's settings, her hands moving faster than any human could follow. Alex and his team implemented stabilizers and reinforcement fields, using every bit of ingenuity they had to protect the domes. The wind arrived in a fury, sand whipping around the settlement like an ocean of fire-colored waves. Visibility dropped to almost zero, and several workers struggled to hold the equipment in place. Alex and Lyra moved together, coordinating every move with precision. They spoke in short, sharp phrases, the kind of communication that only comes from absolute trust. Then a pulse of light erupted from the device, sending a dome of energy into the sky. The storm slowed, bending around the settlement as if repelled by an invisible hand. The humans watched in awe as the device worked, stabilizing the environment just long enough for them to survive. Lyra turned to Alex, her expression calm but satisfied. "You see," she said softly, "your species has what mine lacks: creativity, courage, and adaptability. That is why we succeed together." Alex exhaled, his heart pounding from the exertion and adrenaline. "I never doubted humans," he said, a small smile on his lips. "But I have to admit, this is impressive." The storm finally passed, leaving the settlement intact but battered. Workers cheered, their relief palpable. Alex looked at Lyra, realizing that her presence had not only saved the settlement but had changed something in him. He felt a connection to the wider universe, a sense of potential he had never experienced before. As the sun set over the red dunes, casting long shadows across the settlement, Alex wondered what else Lyra had brought with her. The device had worked this time, but if Aridara remained unstable, there would be other challenges ahead. He sensed that this was just the beginning of something much larger, something that could redefine humanity's place in the stars. Lyra stood quietly, watching the settlement. "This world has potential," she said finally, "and with humans willing to act, it can flourish. But others will come and your courage will be tested again. Are you ready for what is next?" Alex nodded firmly. "We are humans," he said. "We survive, we adapt, and we rise. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." Lyra smiled again, this time with warmth that suggested trust and partnership. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel a sense of optimism about humans and perhaps about the future of Aridara. As night fell, the settlement buzzed with activity. Repairs were underway, systems recalibrated, and the humans shared stories of their survival with renewed pride. Alex walked among them, feeling a quiet sense of hope. They had faced a trial and they had passed. But deep down, he knew that this encounter was only the first step in a journey that would test humanity's ingenuity, courage, and spirit like never before. Above the red horizon, distant stars twinkled, silent witnesses to a species that was about to prove itself on a scale neither humans nor aliens had yet imagined. And Lyra, the mysterious visitor from the stars, had chosen humanity to play its part. The partnership had begun, and with it, the promise of a future that was no longer limited to survival. Humanity was about to step onto a stage that stretched across the stars, and Alex knew they were ready. The next morning, Novaris woke to an unusual stillness. The red sands that usually shifted with the wind were calm, as if the planet itself were holding its breath. The settlement's inhabitants moved cautiously, sensing that something was about to happen. Even Alex felt it, a quiet tension in the air that prickled the back of his neck. Lyra stood on the observation deck beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon. "They have returned," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "The observers have sent a larger group, and this time they are not merely watching. Alex's jaw tightened. How many? Difficult to say, Lyra replied. They move in patterns that are adaptive and intelligent. They learn from every interaction. If we do not act carefully, they could overwhelm you. But you and your people have learned quickly. This is your moment to prove humanity's ingenuity. Alex nodded. He turned to gather his senior team. We have trained for this, he said. Now it is time to see how far we've come. Prepare the defense systems, double the observation patrols, and stay sharp. Remember, the unknown cannot be defeated by force alone. We rely on our wits, our creativity, and each other. The humans moved swiftly, setting up sensors, deploying decoys, and coordinating communications. Lyra guided them, showing how to integrate her device with their systems to stabilize small sectors of the settlement, giving them the advantage of controlled environments. Humans had always adapted to Eridara's harshness, but now they were learning to adapt to intelligent threats as well. By mid-afternoon, the observers appeared again on the horizon. They were larger in number this time, moving with precision and coordination. Their mechanical biological forms glinted in the sunlight, and their patterns were unmistakably tactical. They advanced carefully, testing the perimeter, probing for weaknesses. Alex and Lyra watched as the humans enacted the strategy they had practiced. Decoys distracted some of the observers, while others were drawn into false paths created with sensors and reflective materials. It was a delicate dance, a test of prediction, observation, and improvisation. The humans responded to every adjustment with ingenuity, showing creativity that no observer could anticipate. The observers paused, their glowing sensors scanning the settlement. Alex noticed subtle changes in their behavior, shifts in movement patterns, slight delays as if they were trying to learn and anticipate the humans' next moves. It was exactly as Lyra had warned. The unknown could adapt, but humans had the advantage of unpredictability. Suddenly, a burst of energy flared from the horizon. One of the observers had activated a probe, sending a pulse toward the settlement's outer fields. Alex quickly issued orders. Activate the stabilizers. Redirect energy flows. The humans worked together, rerouting power and creating a barrier that absorbed the pulse. The probe's energy fizzled harmlessly against the improvised defenses. Lyra's device hummed in response, interfacing with the human systems. Excellent coordination, she said. You are thinking in ways even they cannot fully predict. The observers retreated slightly, regrouping, but Alex knew this was only temporary. They would adjust and attempt another approach. He gathered his team. We need to take the initiative. Waiting for them to act gives them the advantage. We are going to draw them into our trap. The humans set up a complex network of sensors and decoys across the dunes, creating a path that would guide the observers toward a controlled zone. Energy fields, reflective surfaces, and simulated structures were arranged to confuse and mislead the attackers. Alex led a small reconnaissance team to observe from a safe distance, communicating with Lyra through secure channels. Hours passed, and the observers approached cautiously, entering the maze of decoys. Alex watched as they paused, hesitated, and then altered their paths in response to the humans' manipulations. The observers were intelligent, but the humans' unpredictability was proving overwhelming. Then a sudden flare erupted. One observer attempted to breach a sector too quickly and triggered an energy trap. The humans watched in awe as the observer staggered, forced to retreat temporarily. Alex's team relayed the event to the settlement, where cheers broke out among the inhabitants. It was the first tangible victory against an intelligent threat. Lyra smiled, though her expression was thoughtful. They learn quickly, she said. This is only the first test. Be ready for escalation. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the observers withdrew, but not completely. Alex and his team knew they had made an impression. The humans' ingenuity and coordination had forced the observers to reconsider their approach, showing that the settlement was not an easy target. Inside the settlement, humans celebrated quietly, repairing equipment and reinforcing barriers, but Alex knew the celebration was temporary. Lyra joined him on the observation deck again, her device pulsing softly in her hands. They will return, she said, perhaps in larger numbers, perhaps with new strategies. Your task now is to anticipate, adapt, and evolve. This is what humanity is capable of, thinking beyond patterns, acting unpredictably, and surviving against the odds. Alex nodded. He felt a surge of pride in his people. They had faced an intelligent threat, something beyond natural disasters or wildlife, and had not only survived but had forced a tactical advantage. It was proof that humans could hold their own, even against beings far more advanced. The following days were filled with preparation and study. The settlement's inhabitants worked tirelessly, analyzing the data collected from the observers. They simulated different scenarios, improving their defenses and learning to predict patterns without relying solely on Lyra's technology. Creativity became their greatest weapon, and every human contributed, from engineers to scouts to scientists. Alex found himself working closely with Lyra, learning to think like her species while applying distinctly human intuition. He discovered that humans had an advantage she lacked: the ability to improvise, to see solutions outside of calculated possibilities. Lyra acknowledged it openly. "Humans," she said one evening, "your adaptability is extraordinary. Even when I guide you, your instincts create results I cannot anticipate." One night, while observing the settlement from the deck, Alex noticed a faint glimmer in the distance. Unlike previous sightings, this one moved silently, almost hovering above the sands. It was larger than any observer they had seen before, and its design suggested intelligence and power far beyond what they had encountered. Alex called Lyra over. "This is different," he said. "They're sending something more advanced." Lyra studied the energy signature. "Yes," she said quietly. "This is not a scout. This is a warning or perhaps a challenge. Your people must remain alert. Their presence will test every skill you have learned." The following morning, the advanced observer moved closer, revealing itself fully. It was a towering structure, its surface shimmering with strange energy fields that distorted light and heat. Humans watched in awe and apprehension, knowing that their ingenuity and courage would be put to the ultimate test. Alex rallied the humans, giving clear instructions. "We know their patterns now. We have learned. Use everything we've practiced. Trust your instincts, your creativity, and each other. Today we prove that humanity is more than survival. We are innovation, courage, and adaptability in action." The humans moved like one organism, coordinating signals, energy flows, and defensive measures. Lyra guided them remotely, helping to integrate her technology where needed, but leaving the humans to execute their strategies independently. The observer advanced, testing the humans' defenses, but with every move the humans adapted, confusing, misleading, and ultimately repelling it without direct confrontation. Hours passed, and finally the advanced observer halted. Its systems emitted a low hum, scanning, recording, and then without warning it withdrew. Humans watched in awe and relief. They had survived the first direct test of intelligence and power beyond their species, and they had done it by relying on their creativity and courage. That evening, Alex walked among his people, feeling pride and respect for every human who had taken part. Lyra joined him, observing the settlement quietly. "You have proven much today," she said. "The observers have learned to respect human ingenuity. This is the first step toward recognition, but know this, challenges will increase. You must continue to evolve." Alex nodded. "We will. Humanity does not falter. We adapt, we survive, and we rise stronger than before." Lyra's gaze softened slightly. "And that, Alex, is why humans are worthy of partnership. Other species may underestimate you, but the universe is about to see the strength of humanity in ways they cannot anticipate." As night fell over Novaris, the settlement buzzed with quiet energy. Humans repaired, reinforced, and celebrated, knowing they had faced a trial that tested both intellect and courage. The red dunes stretched endlessly into the horizon, silent witnesses to a species that had proven its ingenuity and resilience. Alex stood on the observation deck once more, looking toward the stars. The universe was vast, full of unknown forces and challenges, but humanity had taken its first true step into recognition and survival among intelligent beings. And with Lyra as their guide and partner, the possibilities were endless. The story of Novaris was far from over. Battles of strategy, tests of courage, and encounters with the unknown awaited. But for the first time, humans knew they were not merely survivors, they were. The morning after the storm, Novaris was alive with activity. The settlement's workers moved through the domes with purpose, repairing broken equipment, recalibrating sensors, and tending to the small gardens that sustained their food supply. The red sand still glimmered under the sun, but the immediate danger had passed. leaving a mixture of relief and curiosity in its wake. Captain Alex walked through the central hub, checking on every team. He noticed how the presence of Lyra had shifted the mood of the humans. Where there had been doubt, now there was fascination. Where there had been caution, there was determination. People whispered about her in hushed tones, trying to understand who she was, where she came from, and how she could accomplish what no human technology had ever done. Alex ignored most of it. He focused on the bigger picture, the survival of the settlement and what Lyra had truly brought with her. Lyra was in the lab, adjusting her device with a delicate precision. She moved quickly, almost dancing between panels and screens, analyzing data at speeds that humans could barely comprehend. Alex approached her, careful not to disturb her flow. "Lyra, the storm passed and your device worked," he said. "But what about the rest of Aridara? The atmosphere is unstable across the planet. One device won't be enough." She paused and looked at him, her eyes bright with understanding. "You are correct. This device was only a demonstration. The planet itself is alive, its systems delicate and interconnected. Stabilizing one area only temporarily delays the inevitable. To truly survive, humans must understand how to work with the environment and make choices that your species has never had to make before." Alex frowned. "Choices like what?" "Resource management, energy distribution, settlement placement, and understanding threats you haven't yet noticed," she replied. "There are forces on this planet that are intelligent in ways you may not expect. Creatures that adapt, hide, and hunt. And there are other visitors, some curious, some dangerous, who watch your settlement already." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. He had faced sandstorms, rockslides, and predatory wildlife, but the idea that other intelligent forces were monitoring them was unsettling. "Other visitors? You mean aliens?" Lyra nodded. "Not all are like me. Some are observers, some are explorers, and some are hunters. Your survival depends on understanding who is friend and who is threat. Humans often underestimate the intelligence of other species, and that is why your ingenuity is needed. You see patterns that others may miss." The weight of her words hung in the air. Alex understood the truth immediately. Novaris was not just a settlement struggling to survive the harsh conditions of Aridara. It was a beacon in a dangerous universe, visible to those who might wish it harm. He straightened his back, determination hardening in his chest. "Then we start training immediately," he said. "We'll teach humans to recognize threats, adapt quickly, and work with whatever technology we have. I'll organize teams and you'll show us how your device can help expand our understanding of the environment." Lyra gave a small smile. "Very well. But know this, Alex, it will not be easy. Humans will be tested in ways you cannot yet imagine." Within hours, the settlement's inhabitants had gathered in the main dome for the first training session. Lyra spoke to them directly, her voice calm yet commanding, explaining the principles of her technology, the nature of Aridara's environment, and the importance of observation and adaptation. The humans listened attentively, some skeptical, others inspired. Alex demonstrated practical exercises, guiding humans through simulations of potential disasters, sudden sandslides, energy grid failures, and encounters with unknown creatures. They learned to think quickly, adapt tools creatively, and trust one another's instincts. Lyra occasionally stepped in, showing ways to interface their tools with her device, allowing them to stabilize sections of the settlement with more precision. As the day passed, Alex noticed a change in his team. People who had been timid, unsure, or hesitant now showed confidence and curiosity. They asked questions, offered suggestions, and even proposed experiments that Alex hadn't considered. Lyra observed all of it quietly, nodding in approval. "Humans," she said softly to Alex, "your species thrives on unpredictability. It is what allows you to adapt so quickly." Even as they trained, there were signs that not all observers were friendly. A flicker in the distance caught Alex's attention, a shadow moving over the dunes far beyond the settlement's perimeter. At first he thought it was another sandstorm formation, but then he noticed the movements were too precise, too deliberate to be natural. "Lyra," he called, "there's something approaching. It's not part of the environment." She turned, her eyes narrowing. "I suspected as much. Your presence here has attracted attention. Those who watch will often come closer to investigate, and not all investigations are benign." Alex gathered a small team of scouts, equipping them with tools, sensors, and defensive equipment. Lyra instructed them on ways to monitor energy signatures, detect hidden movement, and anticipate potential threats. "Remember," she said, "creativity and courage are your strongest weapons. The unknown cannot be defeated by strength alone." The scouts moved cautiously into the dunes, their steps measured and alert. Hours passed with only fleeting glimpses of movement at the edges of their sensors. Then suddenly a structure appeared, tall, metallic, and unlike anything humans had built. Its surface shimmered in the sun, blending with the red sands as if it had emerged from the desert itself. Alex motioned for his team to halt. "Stay quiet, observe." The structure seemed to pulse with energy, and then, without warning, panels opened to reveal mechanical entities inside, creatures that combined technology and biology in ways that humans could scarcely comprehend. They scanned the horizon, searching, testing, observing. Alex's heart pounded. "They're not hostile yet," he whispered. "But they're studying us. If they detect weakness, they will act." Lyra stepped forward, her device glowing faintly. "Do not engage unless necessary. Let them observe for now. You must understand patterns first before taking action. Humans often make the mistake of attacking too early." The scouts recorded data, analyzing the patterns of the unknown entities. They moved in a rhythm, almost like dancers, but with purpose. Alex realized that these observers were calculating, intelligent, and adaptive. Any misstep could alert them and provoke a response. Returning to the settlement, the team shared their findings. Lyra helped interpret the data, showing Alex how subtle human ingenuity, simple movements, clever traps, and observational skills could confuse or mislead the observers. Alex realized that humans' unpredictable nature was a strength they had never truly understood until now. Days passed, and Novaris became a hive of preparation and observation. Humans adapted to new routines, learning to integrate Lyra's technology with their own systems. They simulated encounters, designed diversion strategies, and strengthened their settlement against both natural and intelligent threats. Then came the first direct test. A smaller group of the observers moved closer to the settlement's perimeter. Alex and his team enacted one of their diversion strategies, using decoy signals, reflective surfaces, and rapid environmental adjustments. The observers hesitated, analyzing, then shifted their approach, revealing their adaptability. Alex realized that this was a learning process for both sides, a silent game of strategy and intelligence. Lyra observed quietly, smiling slightly. "Humans are learning faster than I anticipated," she said. "Your species' creativity cannot be predicted. That is why you survive." The observers finally retreated, disappearing into the dunes, but the lesson remained clear. Novaris had proven itself capable of adapting, thinking, and responding. Alex looked around at his people, pride swelling in his chest. "You see," he said, "this is what we do. We survive, we learn, and we grow stronger." Even as the humans celebrated their success, Alex knew that the true challenges were yet to come. The observers would return and other threats might appear. Forces that humans had never encountered, requiring courage, intelligence, and teamwork at levels they had not yet imagined. That night, as the twin moons of Aridara rose above the red horizon, Alex stood with Lyra on the observation deck. The settlement lay below them, quiet and secure for now. "You've changed them," Alex said. "They're not the same humans who watched you arrive." "They're ready." Lyra's eyes reflected the soft moonlight. "They are ready, yes. But readiness is only the first step. Curiosity, adaptability, and courage will be tested further. There are forces in this galaxy who underestimate humans, and that is when you are most dangerous." Alex felt a thrill run through him at her words. For the first time, he understood the scale of what they were facing. Novaris was no longer just a settlement trying to survive a harsh planet. It was a beacon of human potential, a place where courage and ingenuity would be measured against the unknown. And somewhere out there, in the shifting red sands and beyond the stars, the universe was taking notice. The days following the advanced observers' retreat were filled with both relief and tension. The settlement of Novaris had survived an unprecedented test, but Alex knew that peace was temporary. The humans had demonstrated ingenuity and adaptability, yet the observers were intelligent and patient. They learned from every encounter, and their return was inevitable. Alex walked through the settlement, observing the teams as they repaired equipment, reinforced structures, and ran simulations. He could see the spark of confidence in their eyes, the pride of knowing they had outsmarted a force far more advanced than themselves. But he also noticed the undercurrent of anxiety. Each person understood the stakes. A single miscalculation could be disastrous. Lyra joined him on the observation deck, her presence calm but commanding. "You have done well," she said. "But survival is no longer enough. The observers will escalate. You must not only defend but prepare to anticipate strategies you cannot yet see." Alex nodded. "We'll do it. The humans here are ready. They've learned quickly, and they're proving themselves every day." She studied the horizon, her eyes reflecting the red dunes that stretched endlessly. "Your species thrives on unpredictability. That is your strength. But the universe is vast, and not all who observe are patient or forgiving. You will face challenges that test both your courage and your intelligence." The following morning, a warning came from the perimeter sensors. Small anomalies in the dunes suggested that a group of observers was approaching faster than before. Alex quickly organized a reconnaissance team, equipping them with scanners, energy shields, and signal disruptors. Lyra assisted, calibrating her device to enhance the humans' ability to monitor energy patterns and movement. The scouts moved carefully, keeping their distance from the advancing observers. Alex watched as the humans applied their training, analyzing patterns, predicting movement, and improvising when unexpected variables arose. For the first time, he realized that this was more than defense. It was a test of leadership, strategy, and human ingenuity. Suddenly, a burst of energy struck near the settlement's outer perimeter. A group of observers had tried a direct approach, testing the humans' defenses with speed and aggression. Alex immediately issued orders. "Deploy barriers. Redirect energy. Use the decoys." Humans moved like a single organism, executing each command with precision. Reflective panels, energy fields, and adaptive shields confused the attackers, forcing them to hesitate. Lyra's device hummed in synchronization with the human systems, providing critical support without replacing their judgment. The observers adjusted, learning from the humans' tactics, but the humans adapted again. Alex watched as their creativity forced the attackers to retreat temporarily. "Well done," he said, relief mixing with pride. "They can't predict us completely. That's our advantage." But Lyra's expression remained serious. "Temporary advantage, Alex. They will return and they will escalate further. You must think beyond defense. You must consider offense. Strategic, intelligent action that demonstrates your species' capability to dominate challenges." Alex pondered her words. He knew she was right. So far, the humans had responded to threats effectively, but the observers were testing limits. If the humans waited for the next attack, they might be forced into a trap they could not anticipate. He needed a plan that combined human creativity, boldness, and the technology Lyra had brought. He convened his senior team in the command dome. "We've defended successfully," he began, "but now we must take initiative. We need to anticipate, mislead, and disrupt. We need to show these observers that humans are not just adaptable. We are innovators who cannot be predicted or controlled." The team listened carefully, contributing ideas from every perspective. Engineers suggested adaptive barriers that could shift energy patterns dynamically. Scouts proposed deception networks using reflective drones and sensor traps. Lyra contributed insights from her species' knowledge of energy manipulation, creating a hybrid strategy that leveraged both human ingenuity and alien precision. Over the next hours, the settlement transformed. Hidden traps were laid across the dunes, decoy signals broadcast to mislead energy-sensitive observers, and mobile barriers moved in patterns that changed unpredictably. Every human participated, applying their creativity and knowledge in ways that were spontaneous and adaptive. When the observers returned, they found themselves entering a landscape of confusion and deception. Signals led them astray, energy fields shifted unexpectedly, and decoys created the illusion of strength where there was none. Alex watched from the observation deck as the human strategy unfolded perfectly. The observers hesitated, then attempted to breach a central sector. But a combination of human improvisation and Lyra's device forced them into a trap. Energy pulses disoriented them. Reflective fields bounced signals back, and carefully timed movements of mobile barriers created a maze they could not navigate. Alex felt a surge of pride. "Look at them," he said quietly. They adapt, they learn, but they cannot predict human creativity. That's our power. The battle continued for hours, with the observers testing and probing, and humans responding with intelligence and courage. For the first time, Alex realized that this was not just survival. It was a demonstration of human capability on a scale that mattered. Each action, each adjustment was proof that humanity could face unknown threats and emerge victorious through ingenuity. By nightfall, the observers withdrew. Their signals weakened and their presence diminished. The settlement had survived, but more importantly, it had proven that humans were more than passive defenders. They were active strategists, capable of shaping the outcome of engagements through intellect and creativity. The humans celebrated quietly, repairing systems, analyzing data, and sharing experiences. Lyra addressed the settlement, her voice calm but proud. You have done more than survive. You have demonstrated innovation, courage, and the ability to act unpredictably. Other species will take notice. Humanity is proving itself worthy of recognition. Alex walked among the teams, congratulating individuals and observing the pride in their eyes. He saw engineers sharing new ideas, scouts analyzing patterns for improvements, and children watching with awe, inspired by the adults' courage. Lyra joined him, her presence quiet but steady. The observers will return, she said, perhaps in greater numbers, perhaps with more advanced strategies. But today, humans have proven a truth that cannot be ignored. Your species is capable of creativity and courage that defies expectation. Alex nodded, determination burning in his chest. We've faced the unknown, and we've shown what humanity can do. We'll continue to adapt, to learn, and to rise stronger. Nothing will stop us. The next days were spent preparing for potential escalation. The humans continued training, refining strategies, and testing simulations. Lyra guided them but allowed them to execute independently, fostering a sense of confidence and mastery over the tools and tactics they had learned. During a late-night patrol, Alex and a small team observed subtle signs in the dunes, energy signatures that suggested reconnaissance activity beyond what the humans had detected before. It was evidence that the observers were still monitoring, still learning, but not yet committing to a full-scale assault. Alex considered this carefully. The humans had proven capable in defense, but he knew that the ultimate test was still ahead. He turned to Lyra. They're learning. Every move we make is teaching them something.
How do we stay ahead?
Lyra's expression was thoughtful. You continue to innovate. You continue to surprise. Intelligence is not merely about observation. It is about action. Humans are strongest when they act unpredictably, combining courage and creativity. You must continue to evolve in ways they cannot anticipate. Alex understood immediately. Humanity's strength was not in equipment, numbers, or raw power. It was in adaptability, ingenuity, and the willingness to take calculated risks. The settlement's survival depended not just on defending against the unknown, but on shaping the battlefield through human creativity. As dawn broke over Novaris, the settlement glimmered in the red light of the twin suns. Humans worked tirelessly, preparing defenses, reinforcing structures, and refining strategies. They were ready for the next engagement, whatever form it might take. Alex stood on the observation deck looking at the horizon. The dunes stretched endlessly, hiding potential threats and possibilities alike. He felt a surge of pride in the humans below him. They had faced an intelligent force, adapted, and succeeded. They had proven that survival was not enough. They were capable of leading, innovating, and shaping the future. Lyra stood beside him, her device pulsing softly. You have done well, Alex, but remember, this is only the beginning. The universe is vast, full of unknown forces. Each encounter will test humanity further, and you will rise to meet it. That is the essence of your species. Alex smiled. Then we will rise, Lyra. Humans do not falter. We adapt, we survive, and we grow stronger every day. Whatever comes next, we are ready. The red dunes stretched into the distance, silent witnesses to the ingenuity and courage of a species that refused to be underestimated. And above them, the stars began to emerge, signaling the vast stage upon which humanity would continue to prove itself. One challenge, one innovation, and one courageous action at a time. The sun rose over Novaris, casting long shadows across the red dunes. The settlement buzzed with a sense of purpose. After days of preparation and repeated skirmishes with the observers, the humans were ready for the ultimate test. Alex stood on the observation deck, watching as the teams moved with precision, their confidence evident in every gesture. They had grown stronger, smarter, and more resourceful. Lyra joined him, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Today the observers will act decisively," she said. "They have learned from previous encounters. They will not underestimate humanity this time. Your people must combine every skill they have developed. Adaptability, strategy, courage, and innovation will be tested at their limit." Alex nodded. "We are ready. We've prepared for every possibility, and if they try to push us beyond our limits, we will rise higher." A distant shimmer appeared on the dunes, a massive formation, more organized than any previous approach. Alex squinted, realizing immediately that this was no ordinary scout. Hundreds of observers moved in synchronization, their energy fields pulsating in a complex rhythm. This was the culmination of every intelligence-gathering effort they had made so far. They were coming to challenge Novaris directly. Alex quickly organized the settlement's defense. Humans positioned energy barriers, decoy systems, and mobile shields, combining them with Lyra's advanced technology. Every human participated, from engineers to scouts to scientists, executing a coordinated plan that reflected both experience and creativity. The observers approached steadily, testing the humans' defenses with pulses of energy and probing devices. Alex and Lyra monitored their patterns carefully, noting subtle adaptations. Each time the humans countered one move, the observers changed strategies, testing new angles. It was a battle of intelligence as much as of survival. Alex turned to Lyra. "They're adapting faster than ever. How do we stay ahead?" "You anticipate, innovate, and force unpredictability," she replied. "Their intelligence relies on patterns. Humanity thrives in breaking patterns," Alex understood immediately. They could not rely solely on reaction. They had to take the initiative. He called his senior team. "It's time for the next phase," he said. "We'll lure them into a controlled zone where we can manipulate the environment. We'll force them to learn our creativity in real time. If we succeed, they will see humanity as not just adaptable. We are unmatchable in ingenuity." The humans executed the plan with precision. Mobile barriers shifted unpredictably. Reflective drones created illusions of false structures, and energy flows were rerouted to mislead the observers. The observers hesitated, recalibrating continuously, but every adjustment the humans made was unanticipated, forcing the attackers to respond in ways that exposed weaknesses. Alex led a small team to a vantage point overlooking the dunes. From there, they could see the observers entering the controlled zone. The humans activated a series of decoys, energy diversions, and hidden traps. Observers paused, scanning and calculating, but their patterns could not predict the spontaneous creativity of human strategy. A pulse of energy erupted from one observer, aimed directly at the settlement. Alex reacted instantly. "Redirect the flow. Activate the shield matrix." Humans moved swiftly, their coordination perfect. Lyra's device interfaced seamlessly with their systems, amplifying the shields just enough to absorb the energy without exposing weaknesses. The observers adjusted, but each adaptation brought them deeper into the humans' controlled zone. Reflective fields bounced signals back, creating confusion. Mobile barriers shifted unpredictably, forcing observers to navigate a maze that changed constantly. Humans improvised new tactics on the fly, exploiting every hesitation. Hours passed in a tense, exhilarating struggle. Alex watched as his people, guided by both training and intuition, forced the observers into retreating patterns. He realized something profound. Humans did not just survive. They innovated, outthinking forces that had never encountered such adaptability. Then, from the distance, a larger observer appeared. Its energy signature pulsed differently, and its size dwarfed the others. It moved slowly but deliberately, analyzing the humans' actions with precision. Alex's heart pounded. This was a test unlike any before, a culmination of everything they had learned. "Focus on disruption," Lyra instructed. "Do not attempt direct confrontation. Your strength lies in unpredictability, strategy, and creativity." Alex nodded. "Everyone execute the contingency protocol Gamma. Every diversion, every trap, every improvisation you've practiced, use it now." Humans sprang into action, improvising on multiple fronts. Energy pulses, decoy drones, shifting barriers, and sudden changes in terrain patterns disoriented the massive observer. It paused, attempting to understand the human's strategy, but each calculation led it into another unexpected situation. Humans moved as one, their ingenuity and courage creating a symphony of strategy that no observer could anticipate. Alex felt a surge of pride. "Look at them," he said softly. "They're learning from every move, and still they cannot predict us." Lyra's device hummed in harmony with the human systems. "This is what I have been saying all along. Humans are strongest when they act beyond patterns. They learn, improvise, and adapt in ways that are inherently unpredictable. That is why your species thrives." The massive observer struggled to regain control, but the human's creativity proved overwhelming. Energy flows shifted, reflective fields confused sensors, and mobile barriers forced it into a path designed to expose weaknesses. The humans executed each maneuver with intelligence and courage, improvising where necessary. Finally, the massive observer emitted a low-frequency pulse, signaling retreat. The smaller observers followed, retreating into the dunes. Novaris had survived the ultimate test. Humans had demonstrated courage, intelligence, and ingenuity in a way that even the most advanced observers could not anticipate or overcome. The settlement erupted in quiet celebration. Humans repaired systems, analyzed data, and shared stories of their experiences during the engagement. Alex walked among them, his chest swelling with pride. He saw engineers discussing improvements, scouts analyzing patterns for new insights, and children watching with wonder. Inspired by the adults' courage and creativity, Lyra joined him, her eyes reflecting pride and approval. "You have done more than survive. You have proven humanity's capability on a level that cannot be ignored. Other species will see what has been accomplished here. Your people have demonstrated that courage, creativity, and adaptability are unmatched strengths." Alex smiled. "We've faced the unknown and we've risen above it. Humanity is more than survival. We are innovation, strategy, and resilience. Whatever comes next, we are ready." The following days were spent analyzing the observer's behavior and reinforcing the settlement further. Humans worked tirelessly, continuing to innovate, experiment, and refine strategies. Lyra guided them, but allowed them to execute independently, fostering confidence and mastery over the tools and tactics they had learned. Alex observed a subtle change in his people. They were no longer simply reacting to threats. They were proactive, thinking ahead, and creating solutions before challenges appeared. The settlement of Novaris had become more than a survival outpost. It was a hub of human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. One evening, as the twin moons of Aridara rose in the sky, Alex stood on the observation deck, looking out over the settlement. The red dunes stretched endlessly, and the stars above promised both challenges and opportunities beyond imagination. Humans had faced intelligent, adaptive threats and emerged victorious, not through brute strength but through strategy, creativity, and courage. Lyra joined him quietly. "The observers will continue to watch," she said. "But now they see that humans are a force to be reckoned with. You have established recognition, Alex. Your species has proven itself worthy of respect among the intelligent beings of the galaxy." Alex felt a sense of accomplishment that went beyond survival. Humans had proven something fundamental, that ingenuity, courage, and the ability to think beyond expectation were what made them exceptional. Novaris was a testament to that truth, and the universe had taken notice. "The future is vast," Alex said. "There will be more challenges, more unknowns, and more threats. But humanity is ready. We have shown what we are capable of, and we will continue to rise stronger with every test." Lyra's eyes reflected the glow of the moons. "And that, Alex, is why humans endure. You adapt, you innovate, and you survive, not by luck but by intelligence, courage, and creativity. The universe will remember this settlement, and it will remember humanity." The red dunes of Aridara stretched silently beneath them, witnessing a species that had proven its resilience and ingenuity. Novaris had survived not merely by chance but through strategy, innovation, and the extraordinary capabilities of humanity. And above the dunes, the stars beckoned with endless possibilities, promising new challenges and adventures for a species that had shown it could rise above any threat, outthink any adversary, and triumph in ways the universe had never anticipated. Alex stood tall, pride and determination in his chest. Humans had proven themselves not just survivors but pioneers, innovators, and agents of change. Novaris was the beginning of a new chapter, a testament to the strength, courage, and ingenuity of humanity. And the universe, vast and unknown,